Hello, everyone, and welcome to you. Welcome to the Online Teaching Show. My name is Tim. So happy to be back on a Monday to share another wonderful teacher who is doing amazing things in the teaching space. Just want to welcome folks that are popping in to say hello. If you are here, just feel free to use the chat. We've got, I'm sorry, so sorry if I butcher your names. Maria is here. That's an easy one. Boom, boom, Bakudan, waiting patiently. Thanks for being here. And we've got another one. Tinka, hello. Mary, hello from rainy Canada. So sorry that it's rainy. How is the weather otherwise? Is it starting to cool down? We've got lots of folks saying hello. So thanks so much for being here. This is going to be a really great topic because we are talking about teaching online, but also from the perspective of someone who is not a native English speaker. So I know a lot of followers that I have reach out to me from time to time and struggle getting into the online teaching space, and often have a difficult time getting hired with companies and just getting into the industry. So I really have been wanting to have someone on for quite a while, and I'm really happy to do that today. So please like the video if you're watching, use the chat to ask questions, and we'll have a good half hour here together. We've got Esther, hello from Nigeria, hello to you. Hey, Katie, good to see you, tuning in from the UK. All right, so without further ado, let's give a welcome to my guest, Beth, who is super excited to be here. Not nervous at all, right?
No, I'm not.
Great. And I just want to say that, Beth reached out to me on Instagram, I think it was about, a week ago. And I said, can you come on my channel? I'm always looking for guests. And so if you're watching and you would like to share your story, I'm not scary. It's really just a fun chat. And my email address is below if you'd like to reach out to me. And, I'd love to have you on. It doesn't matter what you're doing, successful or not successful yet. You have a story and it can help other people. A lot of people reach out to me and say they got so much encouragement from the guests, so I think that's why I do these on Mondays. So thank you, Beth. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Elizabeth, but you can call me Beth. People in Brazil call me Betty. Betty, yeah. So, and I sometimes forget that my name is Elizabeth. Only my mother calls me Elizabeth.
Okay.
So,
but it's okay if we call you Beth, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So I'm Brazilian. I live in Minas Gerais. Actually, I am 2 hours from Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, okay. But there aren't any beaches around, only waterfalls.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are beautiful anyway. So, and the weather is also beautiful.
Yeah, I've never been, but hopefully one day.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we could do a country switch. You can come and stay in my place in Thailand. I can stay in yours, right? That would be fun.
Yeah, don't tell me that because Brazil. If you tell that, if you say this to a Brazilian, she will do that, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe next week I'm calling you.
Yeah. Too funny.
So yeah, that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
So Tim, I've been teaching English since 2010. Yeah, actually, teaching wasn't a plan. Yeah, and I was really, it was my cup of tea, right? My cup of tea, actually. I thought I could do that, and but then a friend of mine, she told me about a school that was hiring teachers, and no experience was required. Yeah, and then I went there, I talked to them, and I got the job. And that's why I became a teacher.
Wow, that's so neat. So you've been teaching English since 2010. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about like the online, like, did you teach online for any companies, or what have you done with the online teaching?
Yeah, by this time I wasn't teaching online. I was just teaching in person. Yeah, but
Mhm.
all my online teaching journey, it started 2 months before the pandemic, right?
Mm.
Uh, I started my own business
Okay.
2 months before.
Okay.
And then
Wow.
the pandemic came, and I didn't know what to do because I was going to teach in person, right? And
Mm.
then I had to learn how to do it.
Mm.
And actually, it was a big challenge for me because I didn't know how to teach online. Yeah.
Right.
And all my students, at this time, of course, I had kids and teenagers as a
Mhm.
students, but most of my students, they were adults,
Okay.
and some of them older than me. So, and they didn't know how to use a platform either.
Wow.
So I had to teach them. I had to learn first how to do it,
Yeah.
and then teach them how to use the
Yeah.
platform. Sometimes how to send an email. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
I think it's important to say that most of my students, they didn't have a laptop. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, and they had only cell phone, and I told them, listen, we are gonna do that, right? I think we can do this, so we are gonna do that.
Yeah.
And that's we did, right? We started working with the things we had at this times. Like if there was a laptop, okay, we'll do that. We had a cell phone, we would do that anyway.
Yeah. Well, I love that you have like a can do attitude, when it's not, you don't have all the tools, or your students don't have all the same things. It can be tricky and it's easy to give up. But it sounds like you have a very positive, and at the little that we've talked, you have a great energy and a great positive mindset about what you want to do, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I can tell.
And
So that's great.
I like challenge.
Yeah. So the pandemic hit and you went online. Talk to me a little bit about, I would love to get into a little bit about what it's like as a non-native speaker, and maybe some of the challenges that you faced, or some difficulties that you had. Talk to, because there's a lot of non-native speakers maybe watching, or that will watch, that they feel like they can't do it, because everyone is looking for a native speaker. What can you say about that?
Yeah. So being a non-native English teacher, it's really adventure, right? It's not easy because I've always felt that I had to work harder than the other teachers, especially the native ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing is, the place where I live in Brazil, most of the teachers, they were not no native, right? And yeah, and we support each other, right?
Mhm.
We did, I didn't have any experience when I got at this first school that I was
Mm.
teaching,
Mm.
and but all people there were helping me, giving me, they were giving me tips about how to teach, how to do a better job. So I think I had the right people, yeah,
Right.
at this stage of my life. So, and
Yeah.
I think it helps, right? But it's not easy being a non-native teacher because actually I was struggling with my speaking, right, at
Mm.
this time. And I was very good at grammar
Mm.
and comprehension and good at people skills.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I had to improve my English. At the beginning, I had to improve my English, and but the teachers were there and they were supporting me all the time.
Awesome. I tell non-native speakers that I think you actually have, it is difficult, but you have a superpower. you went through the process of learning English yourself, right?
Yes.
And going through that process, and like, I've never learned any other language before. I took French in school. I'm trying to learn Thai. It's difficult, but I think that there's a sort of an element of just having that experience, that you bring something really different to the table with students that are learning English for the first time. Which brings me to maybe Boom Boom's question. Ask her about how she learned English.
Yeah, so when I was 18 years old, yeah, I went to Germany to work as an au pair, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I went there for 1 year, but at this time I couldn't speak any English and I couldn't speak any German, so
Okay.
I went
Yeah.
there just speaking Portuguese. But I want to learn a language, and I went there because it was I got this opportunity, and I said, so I'm gonna get this, right? And
Yeah.
later I see what happened. And then after 1 year there, I decided to go to London.
Mm.
Yeah, because I had this dream. I want to learn English, right? I
Mm.
want to learn that language. And then I went to England,
Yeah.
and I stayed there for 3 years, almost 3 years. And so when I got there, I couldn't speak any English. I had to apply for school. Yeah, I tried to avoid Brazilian people there. I was like living with Australian, South
Mm.
Africans, and Kiwi people from New Zealand. So
Okay.
I think it helped me a lot, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I was going to school, I was working, but I also was living with people, with native people. So
That's great. That's
yeah,
what I try to do in my own life here within Thailand, is to immerse myself in the culture, and with the people as well. Katie has a good point. Yeah, I agree. She says learning a foreign language should be a bare minimum for any language teacher. As someone who learned English yourself, you really have an advantage to supporting your students. So let's get into a little bit about some tips or some strategies that maybe would help non-native speakers. Because first of all, a lot of online teachers want to get in with a company, right? It's the first place they want to start because it's easy. Everything is kind of done for you. But there are very few companies that hire non-natives. It's very difficult to find, and if they do hire non-natives, the pay is usually really low. Have you ever encountered that? I'm sure.
yeah, go on.
Yeah, and it's just difficult because it's difficult to find a good job, and so another route is to go independent and to find your own students and build your business one step at a time, from the ground up, slowly, and focus on your strengths and maybe the network that you have. But let's talk a little bit about give me some of your advice, I guess, for the many non-native teachers that want to get into teaching online, especially in English.
Yes, actually, Tim, I have never tried to get an online job, right? Because
Right.
when I started, yeah, I had this intention of working independently, to open my school, to have my place, to work on my own method. So I didn't want to go to work for a company, a company that hire online teachers. So I
Right.
didn't have any intention of doing that. So
Right.
I started, as I told you, I started working as an online teacher because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah. It
And
forced you.
so I want to do this, and I had to do this because there wasn't another path to take, right? I had to go through this. The thing is, in Brazil, people are very active on social medias and Instagram, Facebook, And I knew that I could do something very nice on Instagram, on Facebook, to find these students, right?
Right.
Yeah, actually, I was a bit comfortable at this time because I had my students, my old students, that they were with me, and when I told them, listen, we have to go online. They say, okay, we do
Mm,
that, no
mm,
problem.
mm.
So I think my students also were great at this time, right? But
Yes.
then I have to find more students, right?
Right.
And I did it. I was doing something really nice on Instagram. I was telling people, talking to people there, and yeah, I think Instagram helped me a lot more than Facebook, right? I think Instagram did it.
Okay, so just stop there for a second. Let's dig into that. So people often think that you need to have, thousands of followers and you have to be this big person with many people, what do you do? So just say
Yeah,
someone,
it's.
we
I
all
don't
have
think
Instagram.
it's
So,
really. I don't think it's really necessary to have. I think you will have to find your niche, right? If you find I need to find. I need to be good at something, right?
right.
And then I said, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna help my students to get good grades at final exams, right? In
Okay.
Brazil, as I don't know if you know, but we have to take exam to go to the university. Yeah, it's
Understand. Right.
called ENEM. And then I was helping the students to get good grades on that. And so,
Okay.
and I was telling people on Instagram.
Yeah.
So,
You
and
know,
then
I think that's
they
great.
found me.
Yep. And I always say no one is going to talk about your business more than you. And so
Yeah.
you need to start just talking about it to everyone. And you just never know when someone will know someone who's looking for a teacher and can point them in your direction. So what else have you done? And so you say Instagram was most successful. Who do you teach and where are your students from?
Yeah. So I think my students, they talk to other people about me.
Okay.
So I think if you have these great students that like you and then want to see you successful,
Mhm.
so they help you, right? And I used to tell them, I used to talk to them about it. Listen, I need more students, so help me to find people. And I think my students were there for me, so I
Yeah.
think it's important too.
Yeah.
But yeah, to find the students, I think mostly I was on Instagram, right?
Mhm.
On social media helped me a lot. Of course, I was talking to people. I was going to schools and talking to other teachers and telling them, listen, I am a teacher. I'm an English teacher. I teach. I want to help your students. So
Mm.
could you please recommend me? Here is my number. I used to do that, right? I used to go to schools and talk to other teachers. I think it also helps.
Yep. And you also mentioned, you're teaching students who share the same first language as you. So this is something that maybe non-native speakers can think about is like, if you are Portuguese or you're Spanish or you're German or whatever, there is opportunity to sort of think about, can I enter that market? Because that's a common first language. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you are. You
Yeah.
are. In my case, Tim, um, I knew that I could teach English, right? But I could teach Portuguese too,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like trying to do to do it, right? To show my students that to get to know a little bit about our first language, it's also important to understand another language. Yeah, because
Right.
I have these problems too. I think when you teach adults, maybe they don't know their own grammar. Yeah, they don't know structures that are necessary to learn another language, right? And
Right.
you also have to do it. So I think this is another advantage of being no native teacher, and because I could tell them, listen, in Portuguese is like this, but English is not. Or in Portuguese is like that, and in English is exactly the same. I think it
You really
also
make a
helps.
connection. And the
Yeah.
comment here says, here you have this culture that you always need to prove that you know something for people to trust you as a teacher. So I think your students sort of have a greater level of trust with you because of that, I guess.
Yeah, but you always have to prove that you are good at what you're doing, right?
Yes.
So it's something that you always have to do.
I love this one from
Yeah,
Mary.
and usually students, they think if you are Brazilian, so you can
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you have to prove all the time.
Well, thank you everyone who's watching. We've got this is probably the most attended live I've done in a while.
Oh,
With
really?
is it all your friends?
I told them to be quiet.
Oh. Or maybe it's just
Because
a great.
during the Olympics now, a Brazilian team, Brazilian were like considered the most noisy.
Yes, Beth told me to tell if any of your friends are here to behave yourself in the chat.
Yeah,
Mary says, I was renting a car and the man asked me what I did. I told him and he asked me to help him with English reading and writing. Talk about your business everywhere. Yeah, you just never know, where someone's going to um, want or know someone, or you just, and if you start with just one or two of your own students, you can grow with referrals through that and build up your business. I get, referrals constantly. I have a new student just that started a few days ago from that, even though I'm trying to dwindle down or decrease my teaching a little bit. But anyway, it's hard to say no sometimes. Success. I'm so sorry for those that are not typing in English, but I imagine that means great success.
yes, it is.
So give us some other tips, Beth. What else has sort of worked, or if someone's watching, what else can we share with the folks? You talked about a niche, which is really important. Focusing, I think, on the areas that you're most confident in. And what about community, and like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you, that I think it's important to join communities, talk to people that are doing the same job as you. I think it's also important, right? So I used to do it. I used to join these communities on Facebook, on Instagram, and I also I have been studying at the university here, right?
Okay.
And the university has some projects that I could, at this time, I could teach there as a student, right? I was teaching as a student, but I was talking to other teachers, to people that were doing the same thing, like going online, trying this new path that for Brazilians, it wasn't so simple, right?
Yeah.
We had to do something. We had to learn, right, how to do it. It wasn't simple for us. So we were, I was doing that. I was talking to a lot of people, a lot of English teachers. And and I was really lucky because they helped me a lot, and they told me how to achieve my goals, and how to find a better method, to teach online, because I didn't know how to do community, right? So
Yeah. Well, you're
it was
just a
important.
great. Yeah. So what are you doing now? What are your? Do you have how? What does your schedule look like? You're teaching in person and online. Are you?
Yeah. So uh, I think my schedule is quite busy. Yeah.
Mm,
My students um, usually they take the course for 1 year, right? But then they apply for more time because they like it, and
mm,
I try to make it a nice class. They enjoy the games, the conversation, and I also try to make some to get them together and to
mm.
go coffee time, yeah, to get them in person, because some of them I have never met. So I think it's
Wow.
important once a year, right, to get them together and say to. It's
Do you do group
possible if
classes or
they
one
are
on one?
sorry.
Do you do group classes or one on
Yes,
one?
I do groups too, and I also do one to one.
Okay.
So I do both, right?
Yeah.
Most of my students, they are face to one to one, most of
Okay.
them. But I
And are
have
they
some groups.
are they all
Yeah,
in Brazil?
yeah. Most of them are in Brazil. I have some students in São Paulo,
Mm.
in Rio. So they are not at the same state as me, but all of them are from Brazil. Yeah, but I had a student that she was living in Portugal once.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but she was also Brazilian. But
Tell me a
most
little
of
bit about Brazil in that what is the market like for online teachers? Is there a demand for learning English? And how is the feeling about online learning when it comes to a language? Can you talk about that at all?
yeah, as you know, Brazil is very big, right?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
and we just speak Portuguese.
Right.
So it's quite difficult to become an English teacher. It's not easy, but there is a huge demand. I think people want to learn. Um, yeah, the public system, the government doesn't help much, right? The education system doesn't help them to learn. They have to pay courses, and it's quite expensive for Brazilians. But
Mm,
it's yeah, people want to do it, and there is a huge market here. So
mm.
I
And how
think
about the money? Is it difficult to charge a lot of money, or is the sort of uh,
yeah,
what's that like?
I have been doing this for more than 10 years. So I I think I am in a comfortable place now.
Good.
Yeah, I charge something that I think it's fair, and they are okay with that. They pay
Yeah.
that, but it's not easy. Yeah, I know some teachers that are struggling
Yeah.
getting this job that they don't pay much. So it's difficult. It's not easy to be a teacher. Actually, Tim, it's not easy to be a teacher in Brazil.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So I don't know
mm.
if you heard about it, but yeah, we get not well paid, so it's complicated to be a teacher here.
The comment is because a lot of people in Brazil think that you don't need a teacher once you have it in all the school's curriculum. So you might need to prove yourself as something else than just a teacher. Yeah. So maybe there is like you said, it's difficult and the in terms of respect or what? In terms of proving
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, I think yeah, everything is quite difficult in Brazil. Yeah, we had have been dealing with bad schools. Yeah,
Hmm.
um, the public system, yeah, don't invest a lot of money on education, right?
Okay.
So I think it's another problem. Yeah, but yeah, teachers are doing a great job. I think teachers in Brazil, they do their best. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the problems are in the teachers. It's just yeah,
In the
and
system.
yeah, the system. But again, right, we have to prove ourselves all the time, because even parents, yeah, sometimes they don't believe in us. So
Yeah.
sometimes the students don't believe at us, and so we have to prove all the time that we're good, that we're doing a good job, that we can do that. So it's
so
hard.
funny because I live on the opposite, not only the opposite side of the world, but the opposite side of that thinking in Asia. You are held to such a high level of respect and authority, right? It's
Yeah,
like
I know that.
totally different. Katie says it's great to have that you have students who have an amazing teacher. Beth is a competent teacher and a great friend. Oh, you have great friends. So, is there anything else that we've left off, Beth? And I want to mention as well that I'm putting all of Beth's information in the description if you want to email her, if you have some questions or want to ask her something that you didn't get a chance to. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. If you want to ask a question in the chat, feel free. And thanks for all those that are watching. We've had almost 40. Please like the video, subscribe if you're interested in online teaching. I talk about online teaching, companies, going solo, teaching on your own, all that kind of stuff on the channel. So if it interests you, please join. But yeah, Beth, so anything else that we haven't chatted about?
So I think it's important to stay organized, and have a good schedule, right? I think it's important to have your own time, right? You need to be flexible, teacher, but if you don't like work on weekends, don't do that, right? Because you need to be happy, healthy, and feeling comfortable with your job when you do that. I think online is quite stressful because you have to interact only with the students, and so it's quite difficult. It's not that easy, right, to work online.
Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise yourself. Yeah.
I highly recommend teachers to have a contract with the students. I think it's important, to set boundaries, to tell them how it works, about cancellations, payments. I think it's also important.
Yep, absolutely. It's been a good one for me because I can always say, well, remember when you signed it?
Yes, we have to do it. It's the same everywhere, right?
Yeah. Humans are human.
Yeah, and sometimes I talk to them, right? Usually at the first class, I talk to them about this. But if they read it, it's different, right?
Yes.
It's different when you read the information. I think it's different. So that's why you have to have a contract.
That's right. I don't think you ever worked on, she said she didn't work on the platforms like Cambly. No, never did.
No,
but if you just want to mention, if you're a non-native speaker, especially European languages, Twenix is a good one for adults. I just did a video on them not too long ago. And there's a company called Allright, ALLRIGHT. I don't think they pay very well, but can be an entry point for someone who wants to teach. They hire non-native speakers.
Really? Good to know.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth. How was that?
We did it.
We did it. You did it. High five.
Oh my God. Thanks, God. I'm quite nervous.
So thank you everybody for watching and for your support of Beth coming on and for my channel as well. Really appreciate it. I love getting different perspectives. Like I've had people who teach Spanish and teach groups and teach high paying, very niche specific customers, more than $100 an hour. I've had interviewed people who teach in all different areas. So it's really fun to sort of see that online teaching is so broad and there's so many possibilities out there. So anyway, it's also fun to connect with people because it can be, like you were saying, Beth, you're working at home alone, and it can be stressful sometimes. So thank you for joining us. And where can folks find you? Instagram, email?
I've
put it
Instagram
below.
And LinkedIn. Also, Facebook. Okay. I don't remember if I told you send you my Facebook address.
Okay, you can send it to me and
So
I'll put
yeah,
it in
but
there. Yeah,
I can do it later. But
sure.
yeah,
Great. Well,
just email me or send me an Instagram
fantastic.
message.
Okay, well, we're a little over time, but thank you so much, Beth. You were amazing. You're just a ray of sunlight and very positive, and I can't wait to hear what's next. So hope we can keep in touch.
Yeah, so thanks so much for inviting me. I was very glad to be here,
Awesome.
to get to know you. So it was
Yes. Well,
lovely, right?
thanks again.
And
Yes.
I hope to see you in Brazil soon.
Hopefully. Thank you. Keep in touch.
Yeah, okay, Tim. Thank everybody for being
Thank
here.
you.
Bye.
That was awesome. Thank you to Beth again for coming on, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you next Monday for hopefully another interview. Have a wonderful week teaching or whatever you are up to. Take care, everyone. See you later.